people at Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church, they belong to God. Amen. Sometimes I'll say my wife, but can I tell you, she don't belong to me. Even though if you look up the marriage license, you'll see that she married me on November the 6th, 1999. If you look at her last name, it's Dawkins, but she doesn't belong to me. She belongs to the Lord. Oh, I wish y'all would help me out here today that everything belongs to God. Your house ain't your house. It belongs to God. The car that you drive, even though you got the title to it, it ain't your car. It belongs to God. Prove that, brother pastor, because I heard in the word that the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and everything that means that it all belongs to the Lord. Yes, sir. What you have doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the Lord. Watch this, watch this. So I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by that I'm going to change the names to protect the innocent. But I'm going to pick on, it's not good to be in a pastor's family because you'll find yourself an example in a sermon, and I'm going to call him Romeo Dawkins. And I got a son, and we're just going to call him Romeo for today to protect his identity. And it was Valentine's Day. I'm going to show you that what you have is not yours, it belongs to the Lord. That he decided that he wanted to buy his sweetheart some candy. I said his name was Romeo. And I didn't have a problem with him buying some candy. I said unto him, son, we don't have a problem if you want to buy your Valentine a box of candy, but here are the parameters. In other words, you can spend $10 on a box of candy. And I thought that was being generous. So we walking around in Walgreens in Wiley, Texas, and he comes up to me and say, can I spend $20? My answer to him was no. We said that, Romeo, you can spend $10. He said, well, what if I spend my money? I'm going to show you how what you have ain't yours. It belongs to the Lord. And I looked at him for a minute and I said, what do you mean, your money? He said, I got my own money. Can I spend my own money? I thought about it for a minute, Pastor, and I said, well, son, where did you get the money from? I got it from you. And so my explanation to him was, both you and your money live in my house, and therefore I control both you and your money. Are y'all still here? So in other words, wherever you get your blessings from is where your source is, and he controls your blessings. Are y'all listening? So in other words, even though God has given it to you, it's not yours, and you can't do whatever you want to do with it. Are y'all ain't gonna like this? This ain't Burger King. You can't have it your way, but there is a responsibility for us to use it to the glory of God. What you have is not yours. It belongs to God. Oh, I wish we all understood that what we have is not ours. It belongs to God. If everybody that walked into church on Sunday morning understood that what I have, what God has blessed me with, it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to God, that the church would be on fire for the Lord. Are y'all see? I'm talking about working for a praise and a promise. In fact, since what I have is not mine and it belongs to the Lord, then I'm going to give him some praise. And because I'm going to give him some praise, I don't care what anybody thinks about how I praise the Lord. In fact, if I want to tell the Lord thank you, I'm going to tell him thank you. If I'm going to tell the Lord hallelujah, I'm going to tell him hallelujah. If I want to stomp my feet and clap my hands, there's nothing you can say about it because what I have belongs to us. And listen, if you're sitting by somebody that don't like when you praise the Lord, if you're sitting by somebody that can't stand, say you clap too loud and that it don't take all that. Listen, let me tell you what needs to happen. You don't need to move, but there are other pews in the sanctuary that they can get up and move because to God be the praise and glory for what he's done. Listen, when you wake me up in the morning, you can tell me how to praise God. When you make a a way out of no way for me, you can tell me how I can praise God. But if you couldn't wake me up, and if you haven't made a way for me out of no way, then you cannot tell me or dictate how I praise the Lord. What I have is not mine. It belongs to God. They received this Lord's possessions. Watch this. They didn't do anything to receive it. He freely gave it to us. I'm trying to help somebody to understand that what God has entrusted you with, He has freely given it to you. Amen. In other words, it is by God's measure of grace that He has given us gifts. But when we are working for the Lord, sometimes we get sidetracked and looking for our blessing. But can I share something with you? I ain't talking about nobody in here, but if you have a voice to sing, God didn't bless you to sing in a nightclub. It got quiet. That if you have a talent that God didn't give you that talent for you to sit down on it, that God gave you a talent that you might use it to edify the body of believers. Watch this. They were all giving something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One of them was given 5 talents.
And what?
One of them was given 2 talents. And another one was given 1 talent.
Yes.
Even though they didn't receive the same thing, they had the same opportunity. Can I tell you something? That just because somebody's got more than what you got, you have the same opportunity that they have in the eyes of God. And can I share this with you, that I'm not going to get mad if God starts blessing Brother Chester Johnson, because if God is blessing Brother Chester Johnson, I serve the same God. And if God decides to bless Chairman Johnson, then the God that I serve got more of where that came from. So in other words, if Brother Johnson gets a Mercedes, I know that God got more than one Mercedes. And then if I trust Him, that God can give me the desires of my heart. We all have an opportunity to utilize what God has entrusted us with. Are y'all still here? In other words, we have an opportunity to work with the gift that God has so graciously given us. Watch this. That straightway, he gave them the gifts. Now watch this. Pay attention to this. If you're wondering why somebody has more than what you have, God is not going to give you more than what you're able to handle. Look at the text. It says that God gave them what they had based on their ability. Amen. Not what they thought their ability was, but God gave them what He knew their ability was in general. He said, to every man according to his several abilities. God knows what you're going to do with it before you get it. Watch this. Some of us are wondering why our blessing has not come. Can I help you to understand that if you've been praying for that blessing and that blessing has not been materialized yet, that God already knows what you're going to do with it when you get it. And sometimes God got to prepare you in order to receive that blessing. The blessing is already there, but God sometimes has to prepare us to receive what He has for us. Am I right about it? Let me move to my next point, lest I bore you too long. The first point was real simple, that what you have does not belong to you. It belongs to God. Am I right about it? Here's the second one. It ties in with the first. What you have must be used for God's glory.
All right.
Watch this. That in everything that God does for us and in us and through us is that He to get the glory. And I help you to understand that it is not ever about us, but it's all about God. And sometimes when we have that me and that I complex and we think that everything belongs to us, we forget to give God the glory. See, we as the creation we were created in order to give the Creator praise and glory. But can I tell you what I see in this day and time? I see more people praising things than praising God. I see more people concerned about possessions that are concerned about the one that gave the possessions. Are you still here? In other words, God is to get the glory in everything in our lives. So God must get the glory, and in order for God to get the glory, we must understand that it's not about us. Let me give you an example. I can prove you that it's not about you, no matter how much you think it is about you. And now I'm going to pick on Sister Dawkins. I told you it ain't good to live with a pastor because you'll become an example in a sermon. But watch this. She had to show me that it's not about me in a very nice and loving way. See, I have this habit to where when I'm involved in something, I delay coming down to the dinner table. And Sister Dawkins, when we first got married, would always put my plate on the table only to discover that it would get cold because I would be too busy doing what I was doing to come and sit down like I should and eat with the rest of the family. Yes, sir, she cooked. And so one day I came down to the table. They were sitting at the table eating, and I sat down in my normal spot, Pastor, and when I sat down, I noticed something. I noticed that I didn't have a plate in front of me. And I began to question as to how could she do such a thing? She always fixed my plate, but the problem was that I had took my plate being fixed for granted. Somebody missed it, but I'm going to show you something else. And I had thought that I had done something by merit to earn what was in front of me. I thought I had done something that desired me to have my plate. I was a good husband and I'm a good father. I thought that I deserved to have my plate on the table. So what happened was, I sat at the table and there was nothing there. And so, Pastor, I just asked one question. I said, you gonna fix my plate? You didn't say anything. But how many of you know that when you're married to someone long enough, that a look can say everything? She gave me one of them looks like, you must be out of your mind. That if you want something to eat, she looked at my empty spot and looked over at the stove where the food was at and saying, go and fix your own. Y'all got it? But that's what happens for some of us, that God blesses us and put it right in front of us, but we forget to tell God thank you, and one day what God has put in front of us has been taken away. That's what happens when you forget to give God glory for what he's done in your life. That's why when I wake up in the morning, guess what I do? I give God glory. I tell God, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for starting me on my way. Thank you for food on my table. Thank you for a job, because I want that to continue in my life. We got to learn how to give God the glory. We got to give God thanks, not for us. See, we learn how to thank God for all things. But the Bible said that in all things, we ought to give thanks unto the Lord. It is his glory and not ours. Watch this, watch this. So they had a responsibility with these talents. They were to go and to invest their talents wisely and to utilize it.